or tune it in the sun. This is TFM. Get ready to rock. From AM to PM. Come on. Let's talk.
TFM 95.4.
Let's talk.
Live on TFM and the TFM Facebook page. This is the live feed of TTV. Let's talk.
Hello and welcome to the Midday Update. Coming up are the headlines. Minister reviews preparations to tackle COVID-19 in Dhofar. Community joins embassy to pay tribute to Corona warrior. International Space Station crosses over northern skies in Oman. Environment Authority to look into wildlife violation, burning tree cases. Webinar to focus on Dhofar's future roadmap. Israel signs normalization agreements with the UAE and Bahrain. 74th session of UN General Assembly closes. US firefighters race to protect 116-year-old Mount Wilson Observatory as massive wildfire approaches. Security stability in Eastern Mediterranean as an EU issue. Those were the headlines. Now let's move on to weather. We're reporting from the TFM studio in Alquer, and today's tip is about skin hydration. Ditch the body butters and heavy lotions that you would otherwise use in winters, and for summers, switch to something that's light, fresh and fruity. Pick your favorite fragrance so you automatically use it more often. Now let's take a look at the weather report from Oman Meteorology and Public Authority for Civil Aviation. We've got an alert, which means there will be a reduction in horizontal visibility during fog. Apart from this, we've got clear to partly cloudy skies along the Dhofar coastal areas and adjacent mountains. The rest of the Sultanate will see clear skies with chances of late night to early morning low clouds or fog along the coastal areas of Arabian Sea and the Oman Sea. Now coming up are the temperatures in the rest of the governorates. Muscat is going to be sunny with temperatures between 35 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius. Musandam will also be sunny with temperatures between 40 to 30 degrees Celsius. North Al-Batana will be sunny with temperatures between 37 to 27 degrees Celsius, and South Al-Batana will also be sunny with temperatures between 37 to 25 degrees Celsius. Al-Buraimi will be sunny with temperatures between 38 to 27 degrees Celsius. Al-Dahira will be sunny with temperatures between 41 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius. Al-Dakhla will be sunny with temperatures between 40 to 25 degrees Celsius. North Al-Sharqiya will be sunny with temperatures between 41 to 26 degrees Celsius, and South Al-Sharqiya will also be sunny with temperatures between 34 to 26 degrees Celsius. Al-Wusta will be sunny with temperatures between 33 to 25 degrees Celsius, and Dhofar will also be sunny with temperatures between 30 to 21 degrees Celsius.
Shop, play and win. Purchase Laknor products worth 2 Oman Riyals from Rafiq.om or through the app, and win 3 iPhones and 3 PlayStations every week. Rafiq, you order, we deliver.
Hello and welcome back to the Midday Update. Coming up are the stories from the local desk. Oman's Minister of Health met with healthcare officials at the Sultan Qaboos Hospital in Salalah, the capital of the southern Dhofar Governorate. During the meeting, Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Saidi discussed the latest developments of the COVID-19 pandemic in the governorate, as well as preparations undertaken by the hospital to tackle them. A statement from the Directorate General of Health Services in Dhofar said, Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Saidi, the Minister of Health, met with officials in the healthcare sector and medical staff at Sultan Qaboos Hospital, as well as the epidemiological investigation team in the governorate. The meeting was held in the presence of Dr. Mohammed bin Saif Al Hosani, the Under-Secretary of Health Affairs at the Ministry of Health, and Dr. Khalid bin Mohammed Al Mashiki, Director General of Health Services in the Governorate of Dhofar, according to the DGHS. As part of its efforts towards World Patient Safety Day, which falls on September 17th, the Ministry of Health also launched on Wednesday awareness programs relating to health workers' safety and how it affects the well-being of patients. Under the slogan, Safe Health Workers, Safe Patients, the activities of the 3rd National Patient Safety Day and the 2nd World Patient Safety Day will be launched on Wednesday and has been organized by the Directorate General of the Quality Assurance Center at the Ministry of Health for 2 consecutive days, along with the participation of various countries around the world, said the ministry in a statement. World Patient Safety Day 2020 aims to raise awareness at global level of the importance of health worker safety and its links to patient safety, the involvement of multiple stakeholders, and the adoption of multimodal strategies to improve the safety of health workers and patients, added the ministry. Tributes have been pouring for Blessy Thomas, the Indian nurse in Oman who died because of COVID-19 on 14 September. Blessy, who herself was taking care of COVID-19 patients at the Ministry of Health Hospital in Sinau, battled the disease for nearly a month before succumbing to it at the Royal Hospital in Muscat, despite the efforts of all those who tried to save her. We salute the selfless service and dedication of frontline corona warrior Miss Blessy Thomas, who has made the supreme sacrifice in the fight against COVID-19, and we convey our heartfelt condolences to the family, said the Embassy of India in a statement. Others have also honored the sacrifice made by her in the fight against the coronavirus. Dr. Nandita Pokhriyal said, "Hats off to you, ma'am. Definitely God will grace you with the best place in heaven. A big salute from a doctor to a paramedic who gave her life to save others." Vinod Nair said, "Rest in peace, respected corona warrior," and Mridula Rao added, "May her soul rest in peace and God give the family the strength to face this great loss. Condolences to the family." Deepest condolences to the family of Blessy Thomas. May her soul rest in peace, said Priya Wilmer, as Lakshmi Kumar also mourned her loss, saying, "May her soul rest in peace and heartfelt condolences to the family." May the true hero on duty, Sister Blessy's soul rest in peace. Deep condolences to the family, exclaimed Tanuja Sharma. Manisha Prakash said, "May her soul rest in peace and give strength to her family. Very proud of her and her sacrifice." Blessy Thomas is survived by her husband, Sam George, and their 2 young children. She had been working with the Ministry of Health for about 4 years, before which she'd been employed with Apollo hospitals for another 2. She'd been in Oman for about 10 years. Her heroism is commendable. We salute her efforts. We pray that her soul may rest in peace, said Sharad Moge, with Venkatesh Mahesh also honoring her sacrifice. May her soul rest in peace. She has been a true martyr in the service of the people of Oman. It is a very sad news, said Amita Nagpal. She was a true hero. My heartfelt condolences to the family, and may God bless them with the strength to bear this irreparable loss. Deep heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family, added Qayamuddin Qureshi. May the departed soul rest in peace. Condolences for the family of Nurse Blessy also came from her colleagues at Star Care Hospital in Oman. The company said they were saluting the healthcare martyr of the pandemic. We join in prayers with the family and friends of staff nurse Blessy Thomas of the Royal Hospital of the Ministry of Health. May her soul rest in peace. The International Space Station crossed over the northern skies of the Sultanate on Wednesday. Ibrahim Al-Mahrouki, head of the Crescent Observation Department in the Astronomical Affairs Department of the Ministry of Awqaf and Religious Affairs and a member of the Board of Directors of the Oman Astronomical Society, spoke exclusively with Times of Oman. Today evening at 6:53 p.m., the International Space Station crossed over the northern skies of the Sultanate, which can be seen as a bright star. It moves from the southwest to the northeast. Al-Mahrouki confirmed, the International Space Station revolves around the Earth about 16 revolutions a day, with a speed of approximately 27,600 kilometers per hour, and it can be seen in the skies of the Sultanate after sunset or before dawn because it reflects the sun's rays where the observer's location is dark, and the space station is at an altitude of approximately 420 kilometers from the surface of the Earth, so the sun is reflected from its solar panels and therefore appears as a bright and shining star. He added, it is not possible to determine the time of its passage automatically because where the International Space Station sometimes adjusts its path down or up, so the timing of its passage changes, and it can be known when it will pass over the sky of the Sultanate through the ISS Finder application, which is the International Space Station Finder. This is available on smartphones so that everyone can know the space station passage time over the skies of all countries around the world, including the Sultanate of Oman. The Environment Authority, or EA, has confirmed its keenness on cases of burning wild trees and violating the wildlife in Al Jabal Al Akhtar in Al Dakhliya Governorate. A statement issued by EA said, based on the incoming reports and repeated cases of burning wild trees and violating the wildlife in Al Jabal Al Akhtar, His Excellency, the Chairman of the Environment Authority, and a group of specialists in the authority visited Jabal Akhtar today to find out about these abuses. The statement said, His Excellency directed the specialists to expedite work to find quick and appropriate solutions to solve the problem and to take preventive and legislative measures urgently to curb these repeated abuses that threaten the rare and important plants in the Omani environment. The statement added, His Excellency thanked the efforts made by the Ministry of Defence, the General Authority for Civil Defence, Ambulance and the Royal Oman Police for their prompt response and cooperation with the reports received about these violations, stressing that this logistical cooperation will enhance the efforts made to combat these violations. His Excellency affirmed that these behaviours betray the responsibility and indifference of some tourists by lighting a cooking fire near these trees, especially since the quality of the trees is oily and is rapidly affected even by cooking and barbecuing residues, the statement added. Dhofar has emerged as one of the most progressive regions with a robust infrastructure, growing manufacturing hub, well-developed and connected seaport and airport, vibrant tourism and attractive climate. As a result, a number of investors and business groups from within Oman, GCC region and international markets have invested over $8.7 billion in Dhofar till date. The strategic location between trade routes of the east and the west gives Salalah a shipping cost and delivery time advantage to relocating manufacturers when compared to China, USA and India, as well as regional competitors. In alignment with Oman's Vision 2040, Dhofar is continuing to move ahead on the path of sustainable development with its business-friendly policies, expansion of the infrastructure, and promotion of export-oriented industries. Under this backdrop, OER is organizing the webinar Dhofar, the Future Roadmap, on September 30th on Zoom. The exclusive webinar dedicated on Dhofar's future development is endorsed by leading industry bodies including Madayan, Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry (OCCI), and Oman Manufacturers Association. Muscat Overseas Group, Dhofar Insurance Company, and Transom are the strategic partners for the webinar. The webinar, Dhofar, the Future Roadmap, will emphasize on how Dhofar is continuing to move ahead on the path of sustainable development with the expansion of the infrastructure and promotion of export-oriented industries in alignment with Oman's Vision 2040. It will also address the challenges faced by Dhofar due to COVID-19 and how it could overcome them with its competitive environment and a host of attractive business opportunities to the investors. The industry leaders will be speaking on Dhofar's growth roadmap and new investment opportunities. The focus of the discussion will be on tourism, ports and logistics, manufacturing, food and exports-based industries. BusinessLiveMe.com is a digital media partner for the webinar organized by UMS Events. Those were the local stories. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be right back with the international stories.
Shop, play and win. Purchase Laknor products worth 2 Oman Riyals from Rafiq.om or through the app and win 3 iPhones and 3 PlayStations every week. Rafiq, you order, we deliver.
Welcome back to the midday update. Coming up are the international stories. Israel signed agreements to normalize diplomatic ties with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain at the White House on Tuesday. US President Donald Trump joined Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the UAE Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and Bahraini Foreign Minister Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani in signing the three-way agreements. The signing ceremony, which was held in the South Lawn at the White House, formally makes the UAE and Bahrain the third and the fourth Arab nation to establish diplomatic ties with Israel. Egypt and Jordan signed their peace deals with Israel in 1979 and 1994 respectively. The signing also demonstrated that the Trump administration is eager to showcase its foreign policy achievement and gain support among pro-Israel evangelical Christians with the upcoming presidential election. Trump touted the historical significance of the agreements by calling them peace deals. The UAE and Bahrain have never fought a war against Israel in history, and the unofficial relationship between Israel and the two Arab states have developed for years. Netanyahu hailed the normalization agreement as a pivot of history that heralds new dawn of peace, saying Israel, the UAE and Bahrain are eager to invest in a future of partnership, prosperity and peace. Bahrain's foreign minister noted that the agreement is an important first step while emphasizing the two-state solution to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Today's agreement is an important first step, and it is now incumbent on us to work urgently and actively to bring about lasting peace and security. Our people deserve a just, comprehensive and enduring two-state solution to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. This will be the foundation, the bedrock of such peace, he said. Sheikh Abdullah of the UAE, in his remarks, expressed thanks to Netanyahu for halting the annexation of Palestinian territories, calling it a decision that reinforces our shared will to achieve a better future for generations to come. According to the Israel-UAE deal announced on August 13, Israel agrees to suspend its plan to annex parts of the occupied Palestinian territories in the West Bank. The Palestinian leadership, which has long accused the Trump administration of being biased in favor of Israel, condemned the deals. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas called on all Arab countries to abide by the Arab Peace Initiative launched in 2002, which stipulates that the Arabs can only normalize relations with Israel after the Palestinian issue is resolved. Tijani Mohammed Bande, President of the 74th session of the UN General Assembly, declared the annual session closed on Tuesday and passed the baton to the next President of the Assembly, Volkan Bozkır. The emergency of the novel coronavirus has shown that we have to continue to deepen multilateral cooperation in the health sector as in other areas and implement the commitments of our head of states and government to scale up national and global efforts to build a healthier world for all, Mohammed Bande told the closing session. It is important that in achieving this, we must continue to deepen cooperation to ensure that despite the challenges posed by COVID-19, we will meet the goal and target we set for ourselves for the 2030 agenda. He emphasized the importance of the General Assembly, the most representative body of the United Nations. We cannot underestimate the importance of this assembly, which is founded on the equality of voice and vote. Its resolutions reflect the aspirations of humanity, helping the normative development of international law with far-reaching ramifications across a wide breadth of issues for individuals and for states. This is a moment of reckoning for our shared planet and future. This is a time for action, ambition, equality, inclusion, and partnership, he said, stressing the importance of engaging and empowering the youth and underrepresented groups such as women and people with disabilities. 75 years ago, the founders of the United Nations did not allow cynicism to prevail. It shall not be allowed to prevail now, he said. To ensure this, we must continue to thoughtfully define our actions and uphold our pledge to leave no one behind, even in the face of disagreement. Indeed, in spite of disagreement. We must practice empathy and choose unity over discord. In his remarks, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the 74th session of the General Assembly was like no other in the past 75 years as a result of the COVID-19. The last 7 months have been extremely difficult for the people we serve and for many of us, personally and professionally. The COVID-19 pandemic has cut a swathe through our lives and our communities. We are all dealing with high levels of uncertainty. Right now, we are still in the middle of the fog. The extent of the pandemic, its social and economic impact, and its interaction with other global challenges and mega trends is unknowable. Our only hope is to respond with unity and solidarity while supporting the most vulnerable. He said it had been a privilege to work with the General Assembly, a common platform for international consensus and action during these difficult days under the leadership of Mohammed Bande. Mohammed Bande's capable stewardship saw the General Assembly adopt new working methods to continue its work smoothly, he said. On a personal note, I would like to thank Professor Mohammed Bande for his wise, determined and serene approach to those unforeseen challenges and his excellent judgment under pressure. I commend the patience and support he has demonstrated during these unprecedented times. The introduction in March of new decision-making procedures made it possible for the General Assembly to adopt resolutions and decisions without in-person meetings. More than 70 resolutions and decisions were adopted in this way, he noted. The 74th session of the General Assembly also oversaw elections to the Security Council and the Economic and Social Council and successful intergovernment negotiations on the declaration for the commemoration of the 75th anniversary of the United Nations and on an omnibus resolution on COVID-19 response, he said. The world looks to the United Nations as the indispensable forum for international cooperation on global challenges. Let us continue our work together to beat the pandemic and build a better future, said the UN chief. US firefighters worked hard on Tuesday to protect the famed Mount Wilson Observatory in Los Angeles County, California, as a massive wildfire was approaching. The blaze, dubbed Bobcat Fire, was within 500 feet of the observatory and crews were in place ready to receive the fire, said Angeles National Forest officials in a tweet Tuesday noon, adding that strategic firing is taking place in the south where air operations are strengthening dorsal lines. The astronomical observatory is located on Mount Wilson, a 1,740-meter peak in San Gabriel Mountains near Pasadena, northeast of downtown Los Angeles. For the first half of the 20th century, Mount Wilson was the most famous observatory in the world. The biggest telescopes were here, and their new designs were changing the way astronomy was done, wrote the observatory about its history on its website. The Bobcat Fire is knocking on our door. Fire officials predicted that the fire would approach Mount Wilson from Echo Rock. It looks like they are correct, the observatory tweeted Monday night, adding that all observatory personnel have been evacuated. The observatory tweeted Tuesday morning that its boundaries were still secure at this time, and they have 12 companies of professionals from the Los Angeles County Fire Department to provide assistance. Infrastructure in the area, such as broadcast towers, is worth over $1 billion, local news outlet KABC TV reported. The Bobcat Fire, which started on 6 September, scorched 41,231 acres with only 3% containment as of Tuesday morning, according to INCI-Web, an interagency all-risk incident web information management system. An increase in resources is allowing us to expand our efforts to reduce the fire's growth. Today's primary focus remains at keeping the fire from reaching Mount Wilson and the foothill communities, said officials in an incident overview on Tuesday. More than 1,000 firefighters are battling the blaze. Evacuation orders are still in place for residents in part of the city of Arcadia and city of Sierra Madre, which are close to the fire area. Authorities said a smoke advisory will remain in effect through Tuesday due to the Bobcat Fire and the El Dorado Fire, another major wildfire in Southern California. It is heartbreaking to see the wildfires destroying properties, taking away people's lives, and people have to evacuate their homes, tweeted Chinese Consulate General in Los Angeles Zhang Ping Monday night on California wildfires. As the wildfires are closing in, we wish our communities stay safe. Salute to the brave firefighters and our sympathy to those families affected, he added, posting photos of firefighters battling the Bobcat Fire. Security and stability in the Eastern Mediterranean is an issue that does not concern only Greece and Cyprus, but the European Union as a whole. European Council President Charles Michel said on Tuesday during joint statements with Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis after their meeting in Athens. The issue of security and stability in the Eastern Mediterranean is not an affair of Greece and Cyprus alone, but an EU issue. We believe that all the member states must be respected, and this is the meaning of my presence here today, to repeat this message, Michel was quoted by Greek national news agency AMNA saying. Michel paid a visit to Greece to discuss tension in the region lately over maritime borders and exploitation rights of energy resources, as well as the refugee migration challenge after the destruction of Moria, Greece's largest reception camp on the island of Lesbos, by a series of fires last week. The situation in the Eastern Mediterranean and EU-Turkey relations will be discussed in the upcoming Special European Council on September 24th and 25th, during which the EU should demonstrate its unity and strength, because security and stability are strategic interests of the EU, he added, according to AMNA. Mitsotakis said on his part during the joint statements to the press, which were broadcast on Greek national broadcaster ERT, that the Mediterranean Sea is a vital security zone for the entire Europe. Therefore, support to Greece and Cyprus is not only a demonstration of solidarity, but a clear acknowledgement that the EU's geopolitical and strategic interests are at stake here, he elaborated. After the Turkish seismic survey vessel Oruç Reis returned to Turkey last weekend after weeks of research in a disputed area, the Greek Prime Minister said Greece expects more positive steps and an end to provocations to restart dialogue with Turkey over the delimitation of maritime borders. In August, Turkey dispatched Oruç Reis and 2 auxiliary navy vessels to the disputed region near the Greek island of Mies, also known as Castellorizo, where Greece claims lies within its continental shelf. Turkey has time before and after the EU summit to follow up the first encouraging step of disengagement from the crisis. If we see tangible proof of good behavior, we are ready to begin exploratory contacts with Turkey at once on the sole difference that exists between us, the delimitation of maritime borders in the Aegean and Eastern Mediterranean, Mitsotakis said. Until there is a final delimitation, however, either through a bilateral agreement or through an international court ruling, the international law of the sea prohibits unilateral actions, he stressed. Regarding the refugee migration challenge, Michel stressed that Greece and other countries at the forefront of the influx in recent years have shouldered disproportionate burdens, and the EU is ready to find a common effective response through a new policy on the issue. The European Council President was scheduled to visit Lesbos Island in the Northern Aegean to personally see the reality the EU faces. Lesbos received the bulk of the massive flow of more than 1 million people who reached Greece since 2015, mainly from Turkey. It is time this European support will be translated into tangible solidarity and will be shown with actions and not words, so that we can succeed where we had the courage, in my view, as the EU to admit that we have failed in the past, Mitsotakis said on Tuesday. The Greek PM also stressed that with the support of other EU partners, the new hosting facility under construction on Lesbos will offer better living conditions than Moria. Meanwhile, Greek Citizen Protection Minister Mikhaili Chrysokides announced from Lesbos that 5 young foreign nationals were arrested for the arson in Moria, while another who has been identified is still at large. Greek authorities said that the series of blazes that turned the camp to ashes started when few of a total of 35 camp residents who had tested positive for COVID-19 resisted isolation measures. Those were the news stories today. We'll be back on Sunday, so stay tuned.
You've just heard the live feed from the TTV studios on TFM 95.4. Let's talk.